Hi guys, we sell all manner of cars here at Ashton's Cars, but I cannot resist a modern classic, and today I'm sat in one. It's a car that I've owned previously, and also a car that I think is one of the best products that its manufacturer's ever made. Well, let's have a look, see what it is, and see if you agree. And today, it's a very good day because we've got a 1998 example of the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. This is the W202 model, and this is a facelifted version, but the original W202 was launched back in 1994 to replace the, by then, aging Mercedes 190e. Now, this car was a car that Mercedes took a decade to produce. The 190e was a very, very loved car, and Mercedes obviously were understandably concerned by what would replace it eventually, because the baby Benz was one of their best-selling products. So a lot of thought, a lot of prep, and a lot of work came in to finding this replacement car, and this is what they came up with. It was launched officially in '92 and marketed from there, but people didn't take delivery until late '93 of these new C-Class models. And this was the original Mercedes C-Class, a car that's now in its 5th generation. And in my opinion, it is probably one of the best Mercedes models of all time. Let's take a closer look. Well, I'm not ashamed to say that I've been doing this job long enough that I actually sold these cars brand new. And it would have been about this year, actually, would have been the first that I would have sold in the motor trade. They impressed me then, and they still do now. To the level, actually, that when I first started my own business back in, it would have been 2009, I actually bought one of these. It was already an older car at that point, but I just loved the quality of them. And in my opinion, it was this era of Mercedes was kind of peak Mercedes-Benz. They did not skimp on one thing with these cars when they produced them. They were replacing a car that had been so well loved, so successful, and they had to get it right. And the design was a Mercedes in-house design. It was a traditional three box, but obviously the rear lights were a little bit different, and they did set the trend that Mercedes sort of used for the E-Class and S-Class subsequently after that. You'll always be able to tell these later models, which have got the facelift on them, because they've got the darkened lenses on those rear lights. And they also get body colour side skirts as well, and slightly revised bumpers front and rear. And it's a little bit of a toss-up which you find the nicer look in, really, because the early C-Classes are a very pure, nice design. But they did do a very tasteful update, I think, when they came up with this shape and this sort of revised edition. So this is an Elegance spec. Now, there's 3 main specification models that you will find on a C-Class of this age. You can see which one it is by looking just by there on the wing badge. And you can see this one's an Elegance. Elegance was a mid-range model, but to many the one to have, because the top range Avant-Garde had slightly lower suspension, bigger wheels, and as a result, it didn't have as nice a ride as the Elegance. You did then have a classic model, which was the base, and I think there was a sport model as well, which sat somewhere in the middle as well. I think the Elegance might have been slightly over the sport. So in many circles, and certainly the people I always dealt with, always wanted the Elegance specification. It's, by modern standards, quite sparse, but the quality that this car exudes it surpasses any modern Mercedes, in my opinion. Of course, up front, there's no doubt as to what you're driving. You look down the bonnet at this Mercedes motif, it's almost like looking down the barrel of a rifle, and I love that. It sits proud there, as it did on Mercedes of old, on top of the bonnet. It's I think the last Mercedes where that was actually a standard feature on every single model, and you know, on a modern Merc now, unfortunately, that's not allowed because of the modern safety regulations, but it is very nice to see it like that in all its glory. This car sat on alloy wheels. They're standard 15-inch alloy wheels on this car. This is a genuine two-owner vehicle, and it is in very good condition. It's not immaculate, but it is very, very good indeed. A local lady has owned this car for a number of years, and she's had it maintained by the garage that we use for our servicing. And She's even gone as far as fitting matching Continental tyres all round on it. So you can see that it's been very well loved, very well cared for. It's pretty much a rust-free example. I will point out that there is a very light little blister there on the back wheel arch, but nothing too much. And this door handle is broken, and I've got the replacement for it ready to fit. So we're going to be putting a new door handle on it. But apart from that, it's all good really. Couple of little scratches on the boot. A little bit of careless loading and unloading perhaps of items there, but nothing really that would stop you describing it really as a very fine example really of what it is. It's hard to believe really that this car now is coming up for 30 years old, but it is. And this design from 1993, 94, you know, this is a 32, 33-year-old design of car now, but it's aged so well. I mean, it's a proper free box design, but it just looks classy. Everything in these cars has a solid feel, including those door handles. Okay, one of them's broke on the back, but generally they do not break. They do not really wear at all, these cars. Look at the seats. Now, leather was not really a standard feature on Mercedes back then. A lot of people preferred the cloth. I do in many ways. It does actually feel a lot cooler and a lot nicer in the summertime in one of these with the cloth interior. And it tends to wear better than the leather of this age. The wood in it is all very good quality. All the switchgear, although very simple, exudes quality. It just has a real high quality feel that you just do not get in modern cars. Rear occupants didn't have as much space or comfort as the front ones, but with this being an Elegance spec, you still get the centre armrest that folds down, and it has got electric windows in both the front and the rear. You can see this seat has not had a lot of wear at all on it. It's in very good condition. I've got the headrests up at the moment, but they fold down at the flick of a switch, and that's controlled from the front. I have got those seats quite a long way back as well, so it is quite comfortable in terms of sort of space. I would say on par with perhaps a Ford Focus though, more than a Ford Mondeo. And it is of course the baby Benz. It's not the big one. Baby Benz was a phrase that was coined when the old 190e was out. And even when this car was produced, and when it was launched certainly, it was the smallest Mercedes product that you could get. The A-Class had not come out at this point. So the C-Class was the baby of the range. It was the junior entry-level car. And it was really the first time that someone perhaps in middle management could have a Mercedes as their company car option. A lot of people really did find their way into the Mercedes brand by owning one of these. And when I was driving it up here today, a lot of people from modern Mercedes were glancing across lustfully at it. I think probably remembering the quality that these cars had, because that is something that is lacking in a lot of the modern cars. Now, Mercedes fitted all manner of engines to these cars. They had diesels right from launch, and some of the later models even had supercharged petrols. Ours, though, is the entry-level 180 model, which is a petrol, normally aspirated. I think 1.8 litre engine, I believe. I think 180 really did refer to the engine size on this here. It's 120 horsepower. That's good enough to propel this car when it was new to 120 miles an hour, but acceleration is a bit more leisurely. 0 to 60 takes about 12 seconds. But what this engine is fantastic for is just its smooth power delivery. Through a 5-speed automatic gearbox, which has got a winter and summer mode. In winter mode, the car would actually set off in second gear to reduce wheel spin. But look how clean it is. And it's still as smooth as I remember them when I sold these cars new. What a fantastic engine it is. It's just one of those ones that will just keep on going forever. It's got a timing chain, and it's back from the days when a timing chain meant the chain would last the life of the car. Everything on this car is just so much good quality. It's a car that is mechanically engineered, not electrically engineered, and I can't state how good that it feels. So it's time to get behind the wheel. Beautiful interior. I need to just show you the seat one more time, because look, nowhere. How many modern cars would you think would be in this condition in 25, 30 years time? Let's jump in there. Now it's a bit more snug in here than modern Mercs, I will say that. But once you're in, it's lovely and comfortable. It just feels like home to me because I've had one, I've done a lot of miles in one of these over the years. Only thing that's not standard in this one is that stereo system. It's been upgraded for a Pioneer system at some point in the car's life. And it's also got a CD shuttle in the boot. But apart from that, it's all original. Everything in it works as it should. I've had a little drive of it up here and it's as good as new to drive. I love the simplicity of these cars. The ventilation controls are just a simple dial. Goes from hot to cold. You've got one for passenger, one for driver. The air conditioning is on permanently. The EC button that you have there is to turn it off. That's to put the car into economy mode. And your cruise control is set on this little lever here, which you can just pull up or down to set. If you push it in, it's actually got a speed limiter function on it. So this car was well equipped without any of the zany things that you really don't need in a car. It has got a glove box. It's not that big. It's got the logbook in it, which I won't take out right now because I don't want to be breaching GDPR guidelines. The car currently is in my mechanic's name. He actually bought this car from an old customer who's had the car for a number of years, and he'd always said that he'd buy it off her if she wanted to sell it. I have had it off him because obviously that's my job, and I love it. He knows that I love this model. And look at that. That's one of the reasons I love it. Like looking down the barrel of a gun. Let's start it up. Simple key to start. Smooth idle. This car's only done 95,000 miles from new. I'll give it a quick rev for you. Now the badging on these Mercedes is very discreet. You have got that wing badge saying that it's an Elegance, and also it does say Elegance on the gear knob. But apart from that, you wouldn't really know which model you were in. They're all very similar looking on the outside. The avant-gardes are a little bit lower. They do have bigger wheels. Some people like that. Generally, people always went for the Elegance spec if they were a traditional Mercedes customer, let's say. So, electric windows. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's that one. It does go down and up. And 4. Help if I was pointing at the right one at the right time, wouldn't it? But everything works. It's simple, but it's good. It's got a switch to put those rear headrests down, which is, where is it? By there. Let's just check that works. That works. Everything in here feels like it did when I first drove one of these back in, well, the late 90s. And that's a really good thing. That engine is just so smooth and quiet. "30-odd-year-old 4-cylinder petrol engines have no right sounding that smooth, but this one does." It's just a beautiful bit of engineering, this car is. I suppose I could just gush on all night, really, about they don't make them like they used to. Well, they don't. They don't make them like they used to. This is a car that was built to be the best. Modern Mercedes, as good as they are, and I drive one a lot of the time. I've got a GLA at the minute. It's not the same quality as this. This is a car that was just Mercedes from the ground up. They didn't borrow Renault engines back then and rebadge them. They didn't sort of share the technology with other companies. This was designed to be the best in the world. It's rear wheel drive. It's a nice smooth slush box, that 5-speed automatic. It's a really great box. And it just exudes class, in my opinion. When you pull up, even today, at some posh golf club like I'm in now, in a car like this, you look the part, you will turn heads. And this is a car that will carry on for another 30, 40 years, soldiering on. As long as you maintain it regularly, it'll look after you. And, well, it worries me what we're going to be driving around in 30 or 40 years time. I think maybe I should just keep this for myself and just forget about it, because this is a car that I would happily drive for the rest of my life. Let me know what you think though. Comment below, let me know your Mercedes W202 stories. Did you perhaps have a W201 even? The 190E? I'd be equally interested to hear from you if you did. But let us know your thoughts on these particular models, these classic Mercedes. They really don't build them like they used to, in my opinion. Do you agree? Do you prefer to have modern tech over engineering excellence, perhaps? Nothing wrong with that. But let us know your thoughts. And thanks ever so much for watching. I hope it's been of interest to you anyway. Hope you enjoy it. This car is going to be available for sale. The plate that's on it is not included in the sale, I've got to stress. We're taking that off. And it will be available for sale though on an R plate, 98 on the R. And we're happy to arrange delivery anywhere in the UK. And we're also happy to take part exchange on it. So if you're interested, give us a shout on the usual number, 07932873646. There'll be some more details of the car popped into the item description on YouTube. So check that out if you're interested in it. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. I hope it's been of interest. I'm going to go and get my door handle fitted now. And I'm probably going to just drive it around for a little bit and be sort of quite sentimental over my old one that I should probably never have sold. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Remember to subscribe, hit the notifications, keep in touch, and most importantly, join the chat. Comment below. Let us know your stories of Mercedes of old. Have a great day, guys, wherever you are. Bye for now.